Okay, so now I'm about to finish this story time. So, after the situation with my baby daddy, my child's father,
Drop it. Go,
begging me to come to my house so he can supposedly have a good night's rest. And because he wanted to eat. Because at his apartment he didn't have any food. So I'm gonna say around about two weeks later, I was decided to go to the airport where my job was and pick up my last check. It's because of the fact that I was pregnant and I was getting sick on the job so much I had to quit. So I decided, well, this time I called him and let him know that I was going to come to his house to see him once I got my check from my job. So I had picked up my check, my last check from the airport. And then I rode the bus to his apartments. I get off the bus and I'm walking through the gate. His front door is open. Mind you, it was kind of raining outside. There was a leak coming from his ceiling that was in his living room. He puffing on his weed. He's sitting on the floor because he had no furniture. All he had was a bed. He's sitting on the floor with a jug of juice, a half jug of juice on the table, a loaf of bread, some lunch meat, and some chips. And then he had a bunch of marijuana on the table. So I walked in there and he just puffing away, and I'm like, dude, how can you live like this? And I say, it's raining in the middle of your apartment. I said, you don't feel that rain sprinkling on your head? He was like, I don't give a fuck. And I'm like, so you want me to move out of my house with my mom and my sisters and come live with you? So you mean to tell me if I do that knowing that I'm pregnant, we gonna be living like this? I'm like, you gotta get it together. If you gonna be with me, that's what I told him. Because that's the kind of shit he always used to say to me. The fuck? Like, he just, I don't know. And then he didn't have no lights in his apartment. He didn't have no lights. He gonna tell me that another woman was pregnant by him the same time I was pregnant. And I'm like, how do you know that this bitch is pregnant by you? He's like, because I know, because he's like, I fucked her in my apartment with the lights off on the air mattress. And he's like, she showed me the pregnancy test and it was positive. And I'm like, what is this bitch name? He's like, Gladys. I'm like, first of all, you don't know if she's really pregnant by you. He gonna say, well, I don't know that you really pregnant by me. I'm like, motherfucker, you went to the doctor with me and saw the motherfucking ultrasound. I'm really pregnant by you. She just telling you that she's pregnant because I'm pregnant, and you go believe it. He was just doing all kind of shit. Like I said, during my whole pregnancy, this dude tortured me. He went to the doctor's appointment with me one time, and he got mad at me because I told him no. He wanted to come back to my house. He didn't want to go back to his apartment because he didn't have no lights, and I told him he couldn't go. He couldn't go with me back to my house. He got to go back to where the fuck he stayed at. He gonna ask me for $2 to get on the motherfucking bus so he can go home. And then he walked. He took them $2 from me and walked off. Didn't say bye or anything. And then at one point he's telling me, no, he told my sisters behind my back that he don't think he's the father of my daughter. That he don't think he's the father of the baby. And this was before my daughter was born. He said this shit. So when I asked him about it, his black ass go laugh. I'm like, what the fuck you laughing for? If you said it, you said it. And I get so emotional every time I think about this because I couldn't believe that he was putting me through so much shit. I'm already pregnant. I'm already sick during my pregnancy because I had a high risk pregnancy, and he putting me through stuff. And then go tell me that his other baby mama came to his apartment to see him and bring him some groceries, and then he had sex with her. I'm like, dude, ooh. Like, at that point, I just hated him so much. Like, then he gonna say, well, when I was eating her pussy, it stank. But I consider her my wife. I'm like, it must have not stank too bad. You still ate it. Like, ooh.